Amen. Please pray with me. O God, may the words of our mouths and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. So today is a confirmand Sunday. It's not the day that they join the church. We actually separated those two events. And we said today we're going to focus on just talking about what a confirming faith might look like. And it's a good day for it, I think, because rather than just being a day where we're going to talk about faith and the doctrines of the church and the creeds that we say and the affirmations that we make and what we do on a Sunday morning, we're talking about a journey. We're talking about something that happens that is dynamic, that is moving, that is always on some kind of path. Palm Sunday is a good Sunday to talk about that. Because here we are, nothing more visible in the entire liturgical year than this journey. Perhaps except for that lead up to Christmas. And maybe that should tell us something. Maybe it should tell us that we're not just in a static place. That we're not just sitting in one place, standing behind a singular pulpit. But that our entire lives, our entire faith, our entire idea is movement. Because the one that we sing about, the one that we talk about, the one that we read about, the one that we really don't quite entirely understand, is always in motion. He's not sitting still, but he's moving. He's moving onward and onward, looking at complete strangers, relying on people he doesn't even know, trusting in a group of disciples who don't quite get it, moving along amongst people who question, challenge, doubt every single thing he does. And he moves into this crowd, into the city of Jerusalem. Palms waving on this colt that doesn't even belong to him. Or does it? That's a theological debate. But he moves into Jerusalem on this borrowed colt, with palms waving. People crying out, Hosanna, 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 over and over. Blessed is this one who comes to rescue us, who comes to save us, who comes to make everything okay. Why? Why would a crowd want that? Why would a crowd put so much on this one person coming into a city? Why would they strip the trees of their leaves to wave them, to create this red carpet? As Caroline talked about, what was it that they were looking for? What was it that they hungered for? What was it that made them really need this event to happen? Well, look at their lives. This is a once proud people, occupied by the Roman Empire, who comes in with their foreign rules and their foreign laws and breaks down their own system, their own traditions, their own hopes, their own dreams, puts them into bondage. And then there's our leaders who are complicit with this. The Herods and the Sadducees, who are part of this entire structure, who are wealthy and powerful and plugged in. They're not necessarily the ones in the crowds cheering this on. So who are in the crowds? What are they looking for? They're average working people. They are people who wake up before the crack of dawn and they get their kids ready for the day. They are people who wake up early, they wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, did I remember to do that project just right? They are people who go to work, commuting every day with their lunch pail under their arms, wondering, am I actually going to have a job tomorrow? Because the project is almost done, and I know that they're going to be laying me off. They are average, everyday people. And they are looking to this person to come into their midst, to change their lives, to make everything work. Because why? I heard something yesterday at a congregational vitality workshop at Zion United Church of Christ in Perry Hall. And it said many of our churches, not necessarily United Church of Christ, but many of our churches are trying to save people from hell. They're trying to keep you from having to go to hell. And they're offering you ways that you can get to it. But the United Church of Christ looks around and says, there's a lot of people already living in hell. Is that true? It's true. There's a lot of people already living in this. There's a lot of people already working in this situation. There's a lot of people who are already struggling. There's a lot of people in this sanctuary who aren't sure how you're going to pay the rent, who aren't sure how the light bills are going to be paid. Your church is a part of that. There are people outside of these walls who don't know where their kids are going to sleep. There are people who are lining up to get Section 8 vouchers so that they can get a house. They get the voucher after a waiting list. And how long is the waiting list? 12,000 people. 12,000 people in Anne Arundel County waiting for a housing voucher. Qualified, but not able to get it. But when they get it, it's a great day, right? But then they go to the landlord at the apartment complex that says, yeah, we do Section 8. And the landlord says, nope, we've got empty apartments, but not for Section 8. They have no place to go. We have people who don't know where their meal is coming from tonight. We have people who don't know what's happening. And it's not just limited even to this community. Start looking around you. How many people are looking for something to happen? Because if you've ever been in that situation, if you've ever been close to that, if you've even contemplated it, and you go up to somebody and you ask for help because, man, you really didn't want to, but you go up and you ask, and they say no, what does it feel like? And you go to the next place and they say, fill out this form. What does that feel like? Fill out this form. What does that feel like? Fill out this form. And it's coming up on tax time. How many of us are filling out forms? It takes time. It takes energy. It takes a lot of effort. You go looking for a job and you fill out that form, and you go looking for another job. It's the same kind of job, but you've got to fill out a whole different form. It wears you out. It wears you down. You get tired. You wonder about your kids. Where is their future going to be? How are they going to be able to compete in such a competitive world? What activities do they need to be doing right now in order to make sure that they can get into the best university possible? And so we stack things on, and we take these things on, and we keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going. Now, who is in that crowd? Who is in that crowd looking for somebody to say, sure. You need a job? Sure. Need some help right now? Sure. We can do that. Yeah, we can make that happen. How many people just want to hear that it's going to be okay? We got it. It's all right. How many people want to hear that all of those things that are tearing us apart, all of those things that are eating at the very core of who we are, how many of us want to hear that just said? And now ask yourself, wouldn't you be in that crowd too? Wouldn't you be in that crowd waving those palms? Because, man, if somebody has told you that this guy coming through this gate on this day is going to be able to make all of that okay, is going to be able to end all of those things, wouldn't you be there? Some of you might say, well, it's a snake oil salesman. I really don't believe this. That's what happens. But that might be what you do that day, as you show up and you wave those palms. But here's the thing, and here's where the hard point comes in. Because you might know how you want this to get solved. Let's think about that crowd. They know that they want the Romans gone. They know they want Herod gone. Have you ever seen those lists on Facebook or your friends send you, this is what I want to fix the world. This is how it has to happen. This is all I want to see. So all these things list down. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. This is how we fix the world. How many people in that crowd and how many of us might say, we know exactly how to fix this problem? If only you would do it our way. Right? And that's the hard point with Jesus. He doesn't do it their way. He doesn't do it in a way that makes any sense to anybody around him at all. Even the disciples don't like what's going on. They're in complete denial. Jesus has been telling them for weeks now, I'm going to go to my death. I'm going to go to a place. I'm going to go on this journey, and you're not going to like the ending. Nah, Jesus, all right, yeah, okay, whatever. You're going to change everything. We got that. But you're not going to do that dead. The thing about Palm Sunday is that it is a joyous day. We get overjoyed about it. We have fun with it. We do something different. But between Palm Sunday and Easter is Holy Week. That's a long journey. That's a long and difficult journey. But it's a journey that has shaped our community, our faith, and who we are. It's a journey that we repeat every single year because it matters. Because it's part of who we are. Because we recognize that we can't go from celebration to celebration. We recognize that there's something else in between. There's something darker, something hellish that's in our own lives that we're going to have to confront to get to that Easter resurrection day. But even in the midst of confronting that, even in the midst of all of that difficulty, even in the midst of that challenge, there's Maundy Thursday. That communion meal. That day where Jesus says, come, you who don't understand what's about to happen, come, you who is going to betray me, come, you who is going to deny me, come and sit and let's break bread. Let's have a meal together. And we keep doing that meal. We keep nourishing ourselves. We keep going back to that point, that time, that event in history, and we say, no matter what the challenge is, no matter how dark the thing goes, even if we don't know what's coming, even if we deny what's about to happen, we're going to get together. We're going to gather. And we're going to break bread with one another. And we're going to open that table up to people we don't even know yet, who could do all sorts of things to us because we don't know who they are. But we're going to open up that table and we're going to break bread together. That is a confirming faith. Our confirmands haven't been learning, well, they've looked over the creeds, they've looked over some of the institutions of our faith. But that's not what they've been studying. They know what these things are, they know why they're important, they know how they've shaped the community, but what matters is a faith that can get you from Palm Sunday to Easter. A faith that can look at all of those challenges that are in our society, all of those no's, all of those no's, all of those no's, and have faith that at the end of all of that, no matter how bleak it might look, no matter how dark it might get on that Good Friday day where the crucifixion happens, there is a light that outshines all of it. A resurrection. We might not understand exactly what that is. And we might live our lives as little resurrections happening at different times. But we know it's going to come. And we know each time we break bread together in this community, whether it be that formal breaking of bread that we do once a month in this church, or it be that informal breaking of bread that happens through those double doors, back past the bathrooms, and in Caton Hall. We're going to break bread. Whether it be the breaking bread that happens at Ruby Tuesdays on many Sundays that involves other things besides bread. for many members of our church. Whether it be the breaking bread that happens when 2 or 3 of our families gather at one of our youth sporting matches and talks and shares their stories, their struggles, their hopes, their dreams, all of these things. That is a confirming faith. And it's always on a journey. It's always going to be changing. It is always going to be a work in progress. Because that's what we all are. At every stage of our life, that is where we all are. And we're on a journey, folks. We're on a journey together. And we've got a long week in front of us. Clergy, tremble at Holy Week. And I'm going to Florida after it, so I'm finding some palms. But that's what we do. We do it together. We take those steps together. We walk down, we wave our palms, and then we might realize, oh, it's not going how I like. But a confirming faith hangs on. Just by the bit, just by the bit. Even if it's just at the last minute, you hang on. And you say, we're going to get there. We're going to get to that resurrection. That is a faith that is robust. That is a faith worth its salt. That is a faith that we can build together on a journey. And I give thanks to God for all of you, for your support of that journey, for your support of our confirmands as they've gone through this, for you who have taken the time to look after the nursery, to look after the Sunday school kids, to look after the grounds of this building, to look after the missions, to steward all those things. Today is one great hour of sharing where we ask you to share with people all over the world in our church's mission. We make these things happen through the grace of God. Amen.